Hello everybody, good afternoon and welcome to the United Stand. This is your Leeds versus Manchester United preview and your latest Manchester United news. Lots to get into. We'll be delving into the fallout from yesterday as well, of course, in relation to this dressing room row that seems to have caused a lot of people a lot of issues because they don't seem to be able to compute the fact that there is dressing room unrest, and obviously player FC kicks in and people don't like it when it's the player they don't want it to be. And I think it's just a glimpse into life, really, that people can be manipulated by what they like and they don't want to believe it. So we'll talk about that. Also talk about a bit about Pogba transfer news. Also, we're talking about the managerial situation at Manchester United, and of course the Leeds game and where Manchester United go from here. But look, thanks everyone for tuning in. I am touching my side. I am not fully fit, you might know. I have had surgery on my stomach last night. It's not major surgery, so don't worry about that, but I am a bit sore. So I'm not fully back yet, so I didn't realise it hurt so much when I was talking. But look, I've missed not doing a live show. I've missed not doing content, so don't be feeling sorry for me. I want to do the show. But also, because it's a preview, I just want to fly in and say thank you very much to Ultimate Fan, who are sponsoring our show today. It is a preview. Ultimate Fan is a fantasy football with a twist. Imagine fantasy football combined with super cool pack openings. The game is super simple to play. All you've got to do is be over 18 and download the app totally for free using the link in the description. Follow the sign-up system and then you'll be able to start opening your free packs and filling in your team for the coming weekend. Obviously, you get points from how your players perform. There's also Ultimate Fan Plus for you to explore. This section features paid for gold and silver packs, where you can receive extra cards, exclusive content and much more. The best bit is that each week there are prizes available for the teams that perform the best to win, and this week's prize pool is £8,500. As always, if you want to check out my team, we've posted a pic on the United Stand Twitter page, and if you head over there, make sure to drop your screenshots in as well. And if you want to take part in this week's awesome game, then hit the link in the description below and you can start playing Ultimate Fan today. Thanks again to Ultimate Fan for supporting the channel, and the link is in the video description if you want to play as well. So let's get me back on the screen. There we are. Okay, lots to get into. I've got to say that I think that Manchester United against Leeds, look, I don't normally do this and I don't want to jinx it, but I will. I'll talk about that team there in a minute. I think we're going to talk about Leeds in depth, but I just want to give you a brief summary of what I think about Leeds. 3 points and 3 points against Watford. Got to get 6 points. I know we've said this about Burnley and Southampton and we didn't, but I've seen Leeds quite a lot this season. They're not very good. They've conceded 6 in their last 2. They can't really score many goals, and I know it's at Ellen Road and I know they'll be up for it, but if we play the game like we did on Monday night, and I know Brighton were better than us, but if we play like we did on Monday night, we'll have too much for Leeds. They play way too open and we've got way too much creativity, especially if Pogba starts. So, you know, this is 3 points to lose. I'm not going to say we're going to win, but it's 3 points to lose, definitely. And Leeds have got loads of injury problems. They've got no Calvin Phillips. They've got no Bamford. They're not the team. I mean, look, we can beat this team. Definitely we can beat it. I mean, Dan James will be playing, I'm sure, but we can beat them. I don't know why we've got no Ronaldo on there, because that's completely wrong. I think that's just sorry and well observed. Probably still, I'm gonna blame it on the anaesthetic. There is absolutely no way that Cavani should be up front in this game, and it's starting to make me worry that have I actually picked the team I wanted to pick, because that is not the case. Of course, it should be Ronaldo. So sorry about that in the chat. I've upset some people, I think. Anyway, hope we're all doing well. Lots I want to talk about. I suppose the first thing I want to talk about, I want to get it right at the start of the show before we talk about Leeds and the starting lineup, etc. The first thing I want to really talk about is, I just refreshed that, so Ronaldo's in sync. The first thing I want to talk about is this dressing room unrest. Look, I was there at the hospital yesterday waiting to have this operation, and I got delayed, so I was sat there looking on Twitter. And you know what? Twitter's not a nice place, is it, sometimes? And the amount of abuse that was being thrown at people, and the amount of abuse that was being thrown at me, like, apparently I'm the problem, apparently I'm anti-Rashford, apparently I'm racist, and I'm like, if you watch the content and you're part of the community, then let's have a discussion. But if you're not part of the community and you just believe lies about Forest fan and all this bollocks, you need shutting down. In fact, you need to get a life. I've consistently said on this channel for, 4 years, Marcus Rashford's one of my favourite players. But you know what I do? I'm not influenced by agenda. I'm not influenced by favourites. If Bruno has a crap game, which I think he did on Monday, and many people disagreed, I'll say it's crap, even though Bruno's one of my favourite players. I easily, if I have a positive agenda towards Bruno, could have said he was man of the match on Monday, because a lot of people thought he was good. I didn't, and I'll call it out. Martial last year was crap, one of my favourite players. Rashford's not been very good this season. One of my favourite players, he's not been that good. So for a start, I can't be arsed with Player FC. I just can't be arsed with it. And I know it's a new phenomenon, and I know lots of people do like it, but I can't be arsed with Player FC. So first of all, obviously we had the tweet from Falk yesterday afternoon. Rashford replied to it saying he was causing division, and then Falk said, I'm not. And, I actually thought it was quite funny. I even did the deck chair and the popcorn gif. I thought it was actually quite funny because I thought, this is social media Man United arguing with a journalist. I mean, whoever is advising Marcus Rashford, I bet he didn't even do the tweet himself anyway. That's the hilarious thing. Full of replies of, go on Marcus, go for it Marcus. And we know that a lot of these people don't even do their own tweets. But the worst thing you can do is start having an argument with a journalist, especially if they're not telling the truth. They follow each other on Twitter. Maybe send him a DM. That's the hilarious thing. So, well, no, he follows Rashford. Hi, Mark. Hope you're doing well after the operation, mate. I'm a bit sore, Mikael Roach, and I've got to be a little bit careful here because I don't want to get too angry. But, there's people in the replies going, go on, Marcus, because he's replied to it. And I thought, you know what? People talk about being influenced, right? I know our community. I don't influence anybody. I have my opinion. Most people disagree with me a lot of the time. That's the brilliance of the community we've got. Well, I tell you what, if you want to talk about influence, a player can put a tweet out that they've probably not even done. So it's not even them putting it out. And people are going, go on that player. Go on that player. What about Bruno the other night? Pogba. Oh, go on, Bruno, you're my ledge. He probably didn't even put it out. You need to wake up and smell the coffee. This is me. I am talking to you. When a player tweets, guarantee there's a very big chance it's not them. And you're all going, go on there, lad. Sit him down, lad. It's probably some admin on 30 grand a year. And you're going, go on there, lad. You need to wake up and smell the coffee in relation to modern football. They ain't sat there doing their bloody socials. And you need to wake up and smell the coffee on that. But, you know what? Let's dissect the problem. This is Ronaldo against Maguire. This is a captaincy and leadership issue. I do not know for a fact that Marcus Rashford's got a problem with Cristiano Ronaldo. I think that Christian Falk thing is true, but I don't know whether he's got the right players involved. But I know from various people, and you can deny this all you like. I've seen people going outraged saying, "Oh, it's just the press. It's just the press trying to cause division." I'll tell you now, it's not the press trying to cause division. It's well established. It's well known that there is issues in that dressing room, and I'm not talking about people walking in and grabbing Ronaldo's shorts and throwing him in the shower. It's not like that. They're disgruntled. Disgruntled means they're not completely happy. So, look, I said yesterday, I don't really see the point in going in individually. Don't get yourself worked up, Glenn. I don't see the point in getting involved individually in players because they'll all put training pictures out today. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a picture of Maguire, Rashford and Ronaldo with arms around their shoulders and a smile. That's the way United work. You're an idiot if you think that means there's no division. That's just how you deal with something like this. That's how they should have dealt with it anyway. Don't get into arguments on Twitter. Just put a picture of yourself on the winning team. But I'm telling you now, from very, 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 very good sources, and they're not, read the Manchester Evening News, listen to Gary Neville, listen to anybody. Everybody knows that United dressing room is not what it was like a year ago. It's disgruntled, it's divided, there are cliques. Doesn't mean we can't win games of football, but basically what happened is Cristiano Ronaldo came in, he is the leader, and the people who think they're the leaders don't like it. And, they might just be bumping their gums a bit. No one's saying that anyone's pinning each other against the wall, but there's a lot of unhappiness at that in that dressing room. And the way United need to deal with it is the way I think they will. Let's get some pictures out in the training kit with the training sponsor of players who have meant to fallen out smiling with each other. And that, you know what? Put a tweet out about it, and all the idiots on Twitter who are gullible will go, "That's my team. What's this all about?" I think people got lost in it yesterday. It wasn't Christian Falk against Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford might not have anything to do with it. Christian Falk is just one journalist. That story yesterday was pantomime, and that's why I was laughing about it. I thought it was quite funny how they were arguing with each other on Twitter, because that is not the issue. The issue is Man United are shit, the leaders are shit, and there is an issue in the dressing room between the players. That's the truth. Who's involved? Does it really matter? The reality is there is an issue, and it's been brought about by a certain player coming into that dressing room who's inspired some, and others don't like it because they want to be the leader, and that's what it's all about. So ultimately, it's Ronaldo versus Maguire for a leadership battle, and not necessarily because they've fallen out, but because that's the conversation we should be having. That is the conversation we should be having. And you know what? I don't even like all the dressing room leaks. I don't even like the thing that happened yesterday with Christian Falk. I don't like the things that happen in Gary Neville's podcast and in various outlets about unrest, because I know they're true. You know they're true. But I want to talk about football. And beyond dressing room arguments, let's be honest, who should be captain of that club? Not Harry Maguire. I actually think all this stuff takes us away from the football pitch, where it's like an episode of bloody Coronation Street. Who gets on with who? Who's cheating on who? Who's saying to him he likes him and then behind his back is stabbing him in the back? You know, it's like Coronation Street. That's what it's like. And I want to focus on the football. Do we know if Ricky's off to Goodison and the Ibrox would make a good series? Rick's Loney tour, says Joshua Bauer. I think he's on tonight, Joshua, actually. He's on the forum tonight. And how is it possible that through all of this, Man United captain has kept quiet? At least Marcus defended himself if our captain has said nothing. Yeah, but Marcus Rashford's got a fantastic PR team around him. Marcus Rashford's done fantastic stuff off the pitch. Marcus Rashford's a young footballer who needs to have a positive image because of the great things he does. So I actually said to you, well, no, I didn't. I put it in a group chat. I said, as soon as that Christian Falk thing went out, I said, Marcus Rashford PR tweet coming out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And within 2 hours it came out, because that's going to happen. What can Harry Maguire do, in fairness? Can Harry Maguire put a tweet out and say that's not true? No one's going to believe it. And he probably hasn't got the PR team that a Rashford or a Sancho or a modern footballer has. You know, Harry Maguire doesn't strike me as the sort of player that's got Nike and Adidas and Hugo Boss and, you know, Armani queuing up to sponsor him. But, you know, I just don't think he has. So look, I would advise Harry Maguire not to come out and say anything, to be honest, because I think it would just be appalling for him. And one thing I don't like is I don't like agenda and I don't like abuse. At the end of the day, we're talking about football here, and the one thing that really I think these prats on Twitter who abuse people vilely need to realise is that, you know, you've got to look in the mirror. Take a long look in the mirror. Why are you so angry? Why have you got so much hate in you? Because ultimately, that's you. You're infected. Not me, not anybody else. What drives me is I want Manchester United to be the best football team they can be. That's what drives my frustration. That's what drives my conversation. And for me, it's Ronaldo versus Maguire. That's all. And I'm not talking about getting in a ring. I'm not talking about whether they hate each other. There is a leadership and identity problem at Manchester United, and the one person that should be leading Manchester United, in my opinion, is Cristiano Ronaldo and not Harry Maguire. And this dressing room thing should have been resolved, as I said yesterday, by the club. If they gave that captaincy to Cristiano Ronaldo, and, you know, the English clique, even if it exists, didn't like it, every English player in that team can be replaced. So, you know, they should have just done that. I think the problem is Harry Maguire's not very popular at the moment. He's not particularly good, and he's not a very good captain. And United have locked themselves into a stupid decision that is now, you know, feeding this story that isn't going to go away unless Harry Maguire starts playing like Virgil van Dijk, which probably isn't going to happen. Maguire has got no PR team. He cupped his ears against San Marino, says Pretorius Rex. I don't think he scored against San Marino. But look, for me, let's go to the team against Leeds, because it feeds nicely into what we're talking about there. PR spin, whoever's not getting on with each other, look at that team there, and a lot of your problems are solved. De Gea in goal, Dalot, Varane, Lindelof, Shaw, McTominay, Fred, Pogba, Sancho, Bruno, Ronaldo. That's the team I would pick against Leeds. I think we do need to provide some defensive cover. I don't think that Bruno, Pogba and McTominay provides enough defensive cover, so maybe you do play Fred in there. But I'd put Bruno on the right. I wasn't massively impressed. I'm really struggling. I am really struggling. It's really hurting. I'm not really impressed with... that's better. I just need to get the right stomach position. I've got like stitches in the muscle and in the stomach there. I nearly fainted when they were doing it as well. It's really... You know, feel the side of your chest there where it's really tight. Now imagine them sticking needles and stuff in there. It's just icky. It makes me feel ill. You could play Tellez at left back. I don't really care about that. It's a deep-rooted problem, and it started from the board to Harry Maguire, says Jay. But in relation to the team on Saturday, I wouldn't start Maguire. I don't think he was terrible against Brighton, but I think Lindelof was better, and Varane will be back. So I would go with Varane and Lindelof, and then you've solved the captaincy problem. I really do think, without getting angry or stressed, Rangnick needs to take the responsibility to change the direction of this team. And the perfect scenario is there. Harry Maguire, probably unfairly in many ways, but Harry Maguire symbolises a lot of the problems with that team. Lack of leadership, lack of quality. Lindelof and Varane have proven they can play together. You could take Maguire out that team. You could, more importantly, then hand the captaincy to Ronaldo, and I think we'd be absolutely fine. So I think that is the way to go. I do not think for 1 minute that Harry Maguire will not start against Leeds. I think he will start against Leeds, but that's what I would do. Lindelof and Varane. In the midfield, it's interesting. I don't know whether he'd do this, but Sancho's sort of nailed down the left wing. Ronaldo's obviously going to be the number 9. Cavani is apparently going to miss the game against Leeds, and that leads me to what I said on Twitter today. I mean, maybe I was right about Josh King. It's getting to the point now with Cavani where he's just injured way too much, isn't he? But I would stick Bruno on the right. And I don't know why we've not tried it yet, because we get obsessed with how do we get Pogba and Bruno in the midfield. And look, Ollie never wanted to do it. He put Pogba on the left, didn't he, last year? He did it at the start of this season. I think Ollie knew you can't play Pogba and Bruno in a midfield 3 because your midfield gets run all over. And to be honest, against Brighton and Southampton, that's what happened, isn't it? So I would definitely think about putting Paul Pogba in the midfield, because I think that's where he's best, next to a Fred and McTominay, and then putting Bruno out to the right. I think it'd be a very good idea. They gave Maguire the captaincy because of how much he cost them. I'd have given it to De Gea and right now Ronaldo. Also, I never knew Delo was born in Stokes, as you do. Mate, you need to watch the channel a little bit more if you're talking about Delo being English. It's a running joke that's been going on for a while by now. Mark, this standard because of mentality. Ronnie doesn't accept losing. Most of our boys have problem losing and they accept it. You know what, Chris? I spoke to someone yesterday after I'd done the show about what's going on at Manchester United. And you've almost got it word for word. They basically said this to me. They said, "Look, it's not even a secret that dressing room's not getting on, and it's actually quite funny that people try and deny it. You know, you read people on Twitter saying, "Oh, it's just paper talk," and that's what's funny, because every journalist, every player, every coach, and I'm not talking just about at Man United, they know that dressing room's got problems because players talk, coaches talk. There is problem, and the press definitely does talk. I mean, Gary Neville actually said on his podcast on Sunday, "I know who those players are, and it's disgusting." And yet still you've got people on Twitter going, "Go on, Marcus. Go on, Bruno. Go on, that lad." You know, when their admin says there's no division. Fred did it 3 weeks ago. "Go on, Fred. Yeah, Fred. Yeah." It's bullshit. There is divide in that dressing room. 100%. 100%. There is divide in that dressing room. The level of divide, you've got to be in the dressing room to know that. But there's definitely discontent in there. So much so that Ronaldo might go in the summer. You know, Ronaldo might go if we don't get in the top 4. So let's not just pretend that, you know, some people say, well, let's just sell Maguire, or let's sell this player, let's sell that player. Let's not forget Ronaldo might go in the summer if we don't perform well. And maybe that's a motivator for some players. I mean, somebody said that to me a few days ago, and it really scared me, actually. They said, has anybody ever thought about, and it's a great point, has anybody ever thought that these players who are used to finishing 5th and 4th anyway might think, if we do finish 5th, Ronaldo's gone and all our problems are over? I mean, it's a scary thought. It's sabotage, but, you know, you've got to start levelling these sort of concerns and putting them out there, that life would be better for some of these players if Ronaldo wasn't here, because they could go back to what they're used to. And this is what this person said to me yesterday. He said, these United players are used to having failure. They don't want to fail, but they're used to it. They're used to losing semi-finals. They're used to finishing 4th or 5th. They're used to it. It was always going to be an issue when somebody walks into that dressing room, Cristiano Ronaldo, with Ballon d'Ors, Champions Leagues, league titles, and wants to carry on winning. And those players aren't used to that. Always the case. You imagine in your workplace, right? You all get on really well. Yeah, you're not achieving what you want to achieve, but you all get on really well. And on Monday morning, someone starts. He walks in. He's wearing his Paco Rabanne. He's got a Hugo Boss suit on. He's got nice shiny shoes. Hair looks good. He's well groomed. And all the female, and maybe some of the men, are like, God, he's gorgeous. And everyone wants to hang around with him. But then some of the people in the office are like, oh, who's this upstart? We've all been in that situation. I think when I was back at school, everything, you got your status quo, everything's settled. You know, maybe some of the girls like you, you know, and then some new lad starts. Oh, he's new. They quite like that. Oh, and he's making an effort. It's the circle of life. You know, the Ronaldo thing was always going to upset some players. Not all. Some of them have been like, oh, yeah, this is what we need. Some of them are like, oh, I don't like... Who does he think he is? It's just... It's not even a bad... It is a bad thing in relation to when it's happening at Manchester United, but it's not an unusual thing. It was always going to happen. What needs to happen, though, is that these players need to realise that, you know... And it's unfortunate that you have to use Harry Maguire, but he is the captain. The club needs to realise that there's only one leader in that dressing room. There is only one leader. It'd be like walking into, you know, Mercedes, right? And they're going, we've got this brand new car that's broken all sorts of records, but we've also got this Mercedes-Benz A-Class that, you know, it looks nice, but it's not that good. You know, you've got to get into the Formula One car, and that's what Ronaldo is. So, if I, you know, I can't advise anybody to do anything, but if I was Harry Maguire, I'd almost go, it's a privilege to have the captaincy, but come on, you're Cristiano Ronaldo, you've got a leaders. And that's what needs to happen, and I'm surprised that it hasn't. Leeds have been using Dan James as a central striker recently. Maguire will get spun into next week more than once. Hopefully United think about this, as Kieran. And get well soon, Mark. It's commendable seeing your dedication to the club despite health issues. Shame the players aren't as dedicated as you are, says Anshman. Mate, I'm being completely selfish. I was just bored of watching Netflix and stuff, and I just wanted to do the show. I had cover and everything, but I wanted to do it. The players are not used to do the serial. The players are not used to the serial winners mentality. They're just used to having a bowl of cornflakes with Ollie talking about their weekend, says Yudi. Well, you know, there is a lot of things going on at Manchester United that we obviously are not aware about. But I would argue with anybody who thinks that that dressing room is United. It could become United. They might have had clear the air talks this week. You know, it can change, but it's just the people who insist that, and the people I feel sorry for the most, and I actually often sit there and go, oh my God, is the people who get in the replies of United players going, go on lad, yeah, go on lad, and I'm like, you're talking to an admin. And I'm not just talking about any tweet from yesterday, I'm talking any United player in general. The tweet comes out and they're like, you know, De Gea does it a lot, Pogba does it, Bruno does it, and I guarantee you it's not them tweeting most of the time. And then you've got people who still think the modern footballer is on their own tweets, putting the tweets out. And I think, so you talk about manipulated, at least on something like this or on a website or whatever like that, there's other people giving their opinion. Like, you're being brainwashed. Watch Atletico Madrid last night get beat at home by the bottom team. They don't look that good. I think we've got a great chance, the Honest Tiger, of getting through against Atletico Madrid, which brings us on to Leeds. Let's talk about Leeds and why I think we've got to win this game and why I think we will win this game. I think between Leeds and Manchester United, there is a clear quality gap. We've got way better players. Bielsa's quite stubborn in the way that he plays. They got torn apart by Everton last week. They've conceded 6 in their last 2. When you look at their their home record, they've won 3, drawn 4 and lost 4. Whereas away for us, we've won 5, drawn 5 and only lost 2. They are definitely a team that is not performing as well as it could do. I mean, Leeds don't look like they'll go down. They've had massive problems with injuries. I think Bamford's missed most of the season. Phillips seems to have been out for most of the season as well. There are other injuries. I think Dallas is doubtful as well. They're just not very good this season, Leeds. And the only unknown quantity going into this game is that it's Leeds against Manchester United at Ellen Road, which historically is a very, very big game. And therefore, you know, how will United deal with a very hostile crowd and a very pumped up Leeds? But the way you deal with that is by being professional and playing your own game and not getting, you know, involved in the moments. I don't think we will get involved in the moment. I think, you know, one player that needs to not get involved in the moment is Scott McTominay. I think he's very indisciplined at the moment. He seems to get a yellow card every game, and we certainly don't want to be picking up any red cards. And I think if we play the game and we play it sensibly, I can see us winning this game and the Watford game. You know, for the first time in a long time, we might actually go and win a game by scoring more than 1 goal. And I know we scored 2 against Brighton, but to be honest, that goal was a bit dodgy. I thought that Bruno scored. I thought the ref bottled it a little bit. But we did score 2 in that game, but it was the last kick of the game. I mean, I reckon we could be 3-0 up against Leeds with 20 minutes to go on Sunday if we play the game the right way. I'm fully expecting us to win. I think we've got a great opportunity to have a really good week. And I think with, one of the things I would say about this dressing room unrest is that it won't necessarily stay there for the whole season. And I think there is a positive there. Acknowledging that there is dressing room issues, because there definitely are, is one thing. But that doesn't mean that they're going to continue. What if Rashford starts on Sunday and scores 2 goals? The story changes. He's doing what... I don't really care what's going on in the dressing room. Start performing on the pitch. What if Harry Maguire gets up and wins a header? This is the way back. Your way back is not through tweets or, social media. Your way back is through performing on the pitch. Because we can all be kings on social media. We can all be on the winning team in training. Like, let's go and win the next 3 games. Atletico Madrid are vulnerable. Watford and Leeds are vulnerable. Win those 3 games. And actually, when they go into training next week, maybe some of the issues will start to disappear, because a winning team is a happy team, and United have got a real opportunity here against Leeds. I'm not worried about this Leeds game. I looked at those 5 games. Burnley away I thought would be tough, and so it came to pass. Southampton and Brighton at home, I actually thought they were the toughest game, so we've played those. Watford and Leeds away is... I'm not going to say we're going to get 6 points, but that's what we should be looking to do. Would you take Ancelotti as a serial winner, says Paul Matt? I think the ship might have sailed with Ancelotti. I would have liked Ancelotti at Manchester United at some point. Definitely, yeah. But I think with somebody just said there that the outgoing tweets are staff, but the response tweets are the player. One reason. I mean, obviously, I work in social media. I've worked in it for quite a while now. One of the reasons that people don't realise that players have an admin team, it's not just about they haven't got time to be on Twitter. They have got time to be on Twitter. Do you know why a lot of them have admin teams? It's for their own protection. Because it's a very dangerous thing if you've got any footballer on their phone on a Saturday night going, "Oh, did you see the Masked Singer? The Masked Singer. This twat sings like a drowning cat." You'd have the RSPCA on. This is why football has become brandified. It's not just because footballers are lazy and they don't want to have a personal connection with their fans. It's because they are a brand as a player, and you cannot give a player a free rein on social media. Anything they tweet needs to be checked. So that's another big reason why a lot of players don't have access to their social medias to just tweet or put a message out about what they like. It's got to go through somebody first. So it's never like, sometimes with me you'll get a drunk tweet. Sometimes you'll get that with yourself. But as a professional footballer, they can't have that. So that's one of the reasons why they do have an admin team around them, is to protect them in that way. But yeah, I do think we'll beat Leeds. I think there'll be a lot of goals in it. I mean, I've traditionally said that Leeds are one of my favourite teams to watch in the Premier League. Not because I like Leeds, I don't. But because Bielsa's football is so open. And if you think about it, a lot of people have saying in the chat, why are you picking McTominay and Fred? I think if you're going to play McTominay and Fred in any game, you play them against Leeds. They played really well against them at Old Trafford last year. They played really well against them at Old Trafford at the start of this season. McTominay especially tends to have a good game against Leeds, and so does Fred. So I would actually start them both. Matic isn't fit. I'd put Bruno on the right and Pogba. And I just think what Lindelof said resonated with me after the Brighton game. We're a good enough team to keep a clean sheet. And if we keep a clean sheet, we know we've got the players to score a goal. We won't get a nil against Leeds. And we won't get a nil against Watford either. And I think that's a good way of thinking about it. Do you go into United games thinking we're not going to score? Because I don't. When was the last time we didn't score in a game? There's a question for the chat. When was the last time we didn't score in a game? I can't remember where we had a nil. I don't think this year. Shaw and Scott have got 8 cards. Bruno and Harry have got 7. Fred, Pogba 6. Ronaldo's got 5. Yeah, thanks for that, Robert McCormack. So basically, Shaw and McTominay are the two most indisciplined players in the team at the moment. And Wolves 1-0, apparently, says Aldrago. Yeah, so look, we are not a team that I think is going to concede goals. Michael got fired as F1 race director. Good, Jay. I'm going to do some F1 watch-alongs this season, and I was always wondering why he didn't get suspended. So yeah, I think that with United, we don't not score in games very often, and therefore, I agree with what Lindelof said, and it's very much the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer approach, but I don't think we'll play like that necessarily. And actually, Ole used to play quite open against Leeds anyway, so I think we'll see an open game. I've just put a poll in. Actually, you can predict the score: United win, draw, or Leeds win. So yeah, I don't think we won't score. So if we keep a clean sheet, we'll win a game. And I wouldn't be surprised if we beat Leeds and Watford by 2-0 anyway. I think clean sheets will be enhanced with Varane coming back into the team. But I expect to see lots of goals. And yeah, Mark's got a short memory. Mate, I'm feeling a bit cloudy today anyway. Because of the anaesthetic, I think. And the painkillers. So apologies about that. But I can't remember the last time we didn't score. It must have been Wolves. Like you say, we normally do score even if we're bad. The game's on Sunday, ZZ. It's a 2:00 kickoff. So Arsenal actually do play on Saturday. I didn't realise they did because I'm doing a 3:00 watch along on That's Football. There's loads of 3:00 kickoffs because of the Champions League. So Arsenal are playing Brighton. I think Chelsea are away to Palace. So yeah, there's a lot of games on Saturday. So yeah, it's on Sunday. The match for Manchester United. Arsenal at home to Brentford, so we've got to start keeping an eye on them. I do think Arsenal are the best competitors for top four, which says everything. We should be getting top four, and it's on Sky, and it's don't do that. That hurt. I can't do any big loud impressions. Anyway, just moving on to a couple of other things. Ten Hag versus Poch. I know that Real Madrid are looking at Pochettino according to reports. Good stuff. I was saying this today. I can't remember where I said it. So if you've heard it, well, you won't have heard it. I might have tweeted it. I can't remember, but I definitely said it to somebody today. The difference between I saw that United were linked to Anthony today, the winger for Ajax. We've also been linked to a midfielder. I can't remember his name. The difference for me between Poch and Ten Hag can be best demonstrated in this. Ten Hag is an up-and-coming manager with an exciting style of football. Pochettino is an established manager with a decent style of football. In relation to signings, Ten Hag will come into the club and do what I think Rangnick would like to do. He will buy players for about 30-40 million pounds. A bit like Pep did at City. I don't think he'll go above or want to go above 50 million for a long time. I think he'll want to bring a volume of talented players in that he can work with and develop. Poch will come in and get Rice and Kane. That's what he will look to do. So, doesn't mean you can't want Poch. I'm definitely, if we get Pochettino, I'll have to back him. But I definitely do feel that Ten Hag, and also the third point, Ten Hag will work better under Rangnick than Poch will. For me, everything suggests that we should be going for Ten Hag. But I do not really think that will happen. I think United have focused on Pochettino, but yeah, it's Ten Hag for me. I know Fabrizio said yesterday that Enrique won't take the job in the summer. I think we all knew that. Brendan Rodgers has fell away. Mancini would be very unlikely. I know the managerial position is one that some people don't want to talk about, and I'm not massively into it at the moment. I think we've got to look at the short term, but it really is Poch versus Ten Hag, and I think that's what the fans need to be thinking about. It is Poch versus Ten Hag, and I think that's where we are. In fact, I'll do a poll about that. So let's end this poll. 77% are saying that we'll beat Leeds, which is massive considering it's Elland Road, and it's it's a big game. So let's do a manager poll just while we're talking about this. I'm liking doing the polls actually. Ten Hag, Poch, and I can tell you for a fact that Manchester United will want. It's in the poll now. Please smash a like on the video, by the way. Let's see if we can get 2,000 likes while we're live. We have got the forum tonight. We've got Ricky on as well. So that'd be interesting. He was a bit moody about doing it because Sevilla are playing tonight. And I said, we'll just have it on in the background. People will enjoy that. Oh, I want to watch Marshall. Well, you can. But no, I think Ten Hag... I I do think Poch is a good manager. He's just not for me. And Ten Hag is the better one. But I'd almost take the names away and go... And I think this is the best way of doing it, because we don't want to be Player FC. Can't stand Player FC. I don't want to be Manager FC either. So what I would do is, I would actually say, forget Ten Hag the name and forget Poch the name, and look at it like this. You've got a Premier League proven manager who's more experienced, who's probably going to want to buy a Harry Kane and not work really well with Rangnick. Or as well. You've got an up-and-coming manager with a more exciting brand of football who's going to build a team around players that have got a ceiling of about £50 million. He's not going to want superstar signings, and he'll work better with Rangnick. So for me, that's the better option, without a shadow of a doubt. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. I've seen a story about Ronaldo and PSG. I'm not going to talk about that because that decision will not be made until the summer. Of course, Ronaldo could go to PSG in the summer. He could go anywhere in the summer, really. If we're in the Europa League, he might go. This is why it's so important to get top four, because, I think people take this dressing room unrest as a bad thing. And I really do want to say this, and I wanted to keep it late in the show for the hardcore people who take the time to, watch most of the show. And because, you'll get your prats on social media who just make things up that when they don't even watch the show. As people know, Rashford's one of my favourite players, so I don't think he's playing particularly well at the moment. And if he's part of the dressing room unrest, which we don't know, then obviously that doesn't put him in a good light. But ultimately, the dressing room unrest is actually a positive thing. I was thinking about this today, and see what you think about this. You've had Fred come out. We've had other players come out. I think Rashford came out yesterday, very eager to say that there's no dressing room divide. And I was thinking about it, and I went, well, the dressing room division is actually not a bad thing, because it shows what are they arguing about? They're not arguing about who had the last Rolo. They're not arguing about who's getting the most likes on Instagram, although maybe they are, but they're arguing because they're not happy. And I think it is a positive. Well, TK1 says he's laughing at me. But I actually think it is a positive thing, because if there wasn't dressing room unrest, that would mean that everybody thinks where we are is okay. And maybe a year ago, that was it. But I think what's happened is a player's come in and certain players have responded to that he doesn't like where we are and he's not happy about it and he's demanding more. And that's where the conflict's coming from. So the conflict, whether you like it or not, is coming from the fact that there are people in there who want to go to the next level, and there are people in there who are obstructive to that. Imagine if we didn't have people in there like that. A year ago under Ollie, it was all high fives, games of Twister and Snap. Everyone's happy. Obviously you want that dressing room unrest to be resolved. There's a bit of a battle going on, and the right side needs to win. But the fact that I think it needed to happen. So I actually think it's a positive thing. It needs to get resolved, and there's no doubt about that. But you've got to break a few eggs to make an omelette. And, I think those eggs were in the fridge until Ronaldo came in. And now we're breaking a few eggs. And, Varane might be part of that as well. He's a winner as well. Sancho might be part of it. You just don't know. So I think it's a positive that there has been dressing room unrest, because it shows that not everybody's happy with where we are as a club. And that is why top four is so important. Because if we lose Ronaldo in the summer, do we go back to where we were before, where we've got leaders who aren't the right leaders? So it's very important that we get top four just to keep Ronaldo, really. Anyway, Pogba. Let me just talk to you about Pogba very quickly. So I bring it out because I wasn't on the news show this morning, and maybe Adam spoke about it, I don't know. But there was a story about Paul Pogba saying that United are preparing for life without Paul Pogba, and that Paul Pogba is not going to sign a new contract until the summer. I mean, we've spoken about Pogba on this channel for probably about what feels like forever. I mean, how many years ago was it that Pep said that Mino Raiola had offered him the night before the derby to him? I mean, I think that was 3 years ago, maybe now. So, look, we've always been quite... To be fair, the source that we've had around Pogba information has always been quite good. And that source is not even in this country. So, it's always been quite close. And I think Fabrizio is quite close to the Pogba story as well, like Di Marzio was as well. And so obviously there's some sort of connection in there with Mino Raiola, which is what I've always suspected. But the Pogba situation has always been quite well briefed, and we've discussed it on this channel. And, You know, I said last summer I didn't think Pogba would leave, and he didn't leave. And I've been told all along that Pogba will go in the summer. So I don't know why we're still I often think, I think you've got to be cynical about 100%. You've got to be cynical about news that comes out. You know, should Christian Falk have put that tweet out yesterday? He's a journalist. Yes. Should he have named Rashford and Maguire in it and other players? It's probably you're probably a bit pissed off if you're Maguire and Rashford, especially if you're not involved. But you're probably a bit pissed off if he's named you two and then he said other players. You know, maybe name them all. So let's not forget that journalists are can be manipulative. I mean, I think that's an understatement. But reading today from a couple of outlets that Pogba's made the decision that he's not going to sign a new contract till the summer and then he's going to assess his options. I do think, well, Pogba at the moment's getting a bit of positivity, and then I do think, is this story coming out to change the positivity around Pogba? And what I mean by that is, there are people in the media that don't like Pogba. You know, it might be an irrational dislike, it might be, you know, who knows. So I was thinking there today, I was like, well, I want to talk about this on the show because I'm reading stories today, and I've got people messaging me about, oh, Pogba's not going to sign a new contract and he's going to wait until the summer. And I'm like, no shit, Sherlock. We've known this for a year. Why is this coming out now? Because that story can only cast the situation in a bad light. You know, that can only be I don't think many people will read it as a negative. But Pogba is refusing to sign a new contract until the summer when he's going to assess his options. That's not a positive story about Pogba, is it? When actually there's a lot of positivity around Pogba at the moment. So I just wanted to just sort of say, I'm going to defend Pogba on this because I know as United fans we wouldn't do this, but if you're a professional footballer who's been at a club for 6 years and it's February and there's an offer on the table from your current club that you've been with for 6 years and you know that offer's going to be there in the summer, and you also know in the summer you're going to get maybe better offers and loads of offers from lots of clubs, you're not going to sign the contract that's going to be there in the summer now, are you? You're going to wait until the summer. So let's get real about the Pogba situation. He's not doing anything new. That contract from United was offered to him last summer. He didn't sign it. He's not woken up this morning and said, I'm not signing a contract till the summer. It's always been the same situation. He was always going to wait until the summer. And to be honest with you, he'd be a bloody idiot not to wait till the summer. Unless United offered something like £1 million a week, which they won't do. He's going to have to wait till the summer. Mbappe's doing the same thing. Jesse Lingard is doing the same thing. But it's always Pogba, isn't it? There's always has to be an angle on Pogba. And I just think any story about Pogba about waiting till the summer, he's not going to sign a contract. We've known about this. We've probably known about this for 2 years. So, you know, as I said, with Pogba, we're using him like he's using us. As a fan base, I've got no interest in what the club have done. The club have messed it up and they're responsible for letting his contract run down. But as a fan base, we use him like he's using us. He's putting himself in the shop window. Good. Keep doing it, mate. Because if he's putting himself in the shop window and he's playing well, if Pogba's playing well, we're probably going to win. So win-win. You know, I'm 90% sure that Pogba's going to leave in the summer. So I can, you know, and I've been 90% sure that Pogba's going to leave in the summer for a long time. So I've computed that. I'm not okay with it, but I've accepted it's going to happen. But for the next 3 or 4 months, let's use him. Let's use him and his talent. And that's where I am. All this contract talk, there's just no point about it because he'd be a bloody idiot to sign the contract anyway. Mark, would you ever consider playing Rust? It's the greatest game of all time, released in 2013, but still top 10 on Steam daily users to this day, says $1 billion. I'll take a look at it, mate. I don't know what it is. I tell you what, I'm exhausted. I'm in a lot of pain. Talking about 90%, Ten Hag against Poch. I mean, considering we've got 10,000 people watching and we've had nearly 5,000 votes in the live poll in the chat, 88% want Ten Hag, 12% want Poch. Club need to be looking at that. Club need to be looking at that. You know what? You might not like fan content, Manchester United, but you can't ignore it. And actually, you know, I don't see a lot of abuse or hate in the community that we run. I see a lot of people obsessed with United getting back to where they should be, and that's a landslide. But you know what? On the United board, it's probably the other way. 90% Poch, 10% Ten Hag, which just shows you how out of touch they are. And you'll watch a lot more football than they do. Unfortunately, our board is full of bankers. And, you know, our fan base is full of football people. Needs to be the other way round. No, we don't want any bankers in our fan base either, really. Nothing against bankers, as long as you know what you're on about in relation to football. Bradley says, me and my fiance are your biggest fans, Mark. Farron Watt, I love you so much and I can't wait to call you my wife. You are the love of my life. There we go. What a lovely comment from Bradley Clout there. Big shout out to you both and all the best. I'm going to end it there because I can't believe, well, actually, there'll be some medical minds in the chat who know. But actually, even though I'm sat down and I'm not even moving my chest, it's absolutely killing me to talk like this. So I got through it. I'm really glad I did it because I wanted to do it today. I've missed you all. And there won't be any Twitch, Randy. I don't normally do Thursday anyway. But I might do Red Dead Redemption tonight, Dan. Let's see how we go. I can go and have a lie down for a few hours. I can't stretch, Samuel. It will tear the stitches out. But no, I really wanted to do the stream, so you know, I don't want any like hero stuff or anything like that. I was literally desperate to come on stream and talk about the Leeds game with you lot. So I'm glad I got through it. Take care, everyone. Please smash a like on your video, and I've got the fan forum tonight at 8 o'clock as per usual, and I might be on Twitch tonight with a bit of Red Dead Redemption. We'll see. But we've got Paul Ince on in the show tomorrow morning, and we've got the presser with Ralph tomorrow at lunchtime as well. Heading towards the Leeds game, which I think we will win. I think we will win on Sunday, and I think we will beat Watford, and hopefully we can start to resolve some of these issues that are going on behind closed doors, because ultimately, I think we've just got to look at the short term. Look at the short term with Manchester United, get to the end of the season, and then, you know, as I said, the scary thing is, if we don't finish in the top 4, we'll take a massive step backwards, because we'll probably lose the guy, Ronaldo, who's trying to change us for the better in that dressing room. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. And look, and finally, I just want to say as well, if Maguire plays on Sunday, I hope he scores. If Rashford plays on Sunday, I hope he scores. If McTominay plays on Sunday, I hope he scores. I wouldn't start any of those players really, because I think we should put Bruno on the right. But, you know, and I'd put Lindelof at centre-back. But at the end of the day, we need to win. And we've got the players that we've got. So let's go out and do it. The real change will happen in the summer, and that story is yet to be written. Thanks for watching. Take care. Thanks for all the nice messages, everyone, and I'll speak to you in a bit.